Excuse me. I tell you, ain't nothing like a salad. Those bag salads with some Italian dressing on them. I'm eating lunch, okay? But I'm going to talk about Brian Cairn. Okay, he's had IS trouble, which means he didn't pay his taxes. He has to move. That surprised me because 98% of the ministries own their own building. They don't rent. My suggestion to him is that he take his punishment, go on to jail, and do some self-reflection. But most of all, get quiet before the Lord. I had to get quiet before the Lord. Get quiet before the Lord, fast and pray in jail to see what the Lord wants to say to him. And I also suggest that he reread the 10 Commandments. Go to jail, do his time. Get quiet before the Lord. It's obvious that Brian Cairn does not know how to manage money. Excuse me. He doesn't know how to manage money. He does not know how to manage personal money. He does not know how to manage church money. That's very obvious. He doesn't understand that 4 quarters equals $1. He doesn't understand that $1 is not equal to $1,000. And he's not the only ministry that doesn't understand that. I've seen umpteen ministries. I've seen a lot of ministries go bankrupt because they don't understand that 4 quarters equals $1. $1 equals $1. $1 does not equal $1,000. Okay? $1 does not equal $1,000. And maybe he doesn't know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Maybe he didn't learn that in school. Maybe that is the truth. In Ephesians, it said to shun fornication. He needs to reread that. He needs to go to jail, get quiet before the Lord, and reread Scripture. Reread the New Testament, shun fornication. He needs to reread the 10 Commandments, reread the Old Testament. But look, like I said, 98% of the churches and evangelists do not know how to manage money. 98% of them don't know how to manage money. What the church now counts on is gimmicks. Plant a seed for the need. Juanita Bynum says, give 1,033, and then you get a blessing. You might not. So that's the Freemasonry doctrine, the 33rd degree and so on. And that's not including, the other secret organizations that she's a member of. So, and plant a seed for your need. Plant a seed to who? Them. Don't plant a seed to another ministry. Plant a seed to them. Gimmicks, and you'll get blessed. What it is that we have to finance. They're asking the church, millions and millions of poor people, or thousands and thousands of poor people, to finance their fantasy. They have a fantasy of having a Peugeot. Never mind, they look ridiculous at their age, at over 50 in the Peugeot. They have a fantasy of having a Peugeot. So they want all these poor people, thousands of poor people, to finance their Peugeot. They want poor people to finance their fantasy. They need land. They want to take up an offering for. They're not going to say that I want to take up an offering for landscaping, chandeliers, and for my wife to buy a new Mercedes. They're not going to say that because they wouldn't get any money. So they'll just ask millions. The bigger ministries will ask millions and millions of poor people to pay for the landscaping, pay for this new building, pay for the new projects. Always a new project. And see, they don't have sense enough to take some of the ministry money and put it in a capital, like capital outlay. But look, it seems to me that 98 to 99% of the ministers do not know how to manage money, period. So my suggestion to Brian Cairn is that he clearly doesn't understand money. He needs to get before the Lord and to talk about that, because Solomon says in the Proverbs, above all things, get wisdom. He needs wisdom about money and wisdom about everything. He needs to go to jail so he can get before the Lord and ask why he doesn't spend any money. I mean, why he doesn't understand money. Learn how to manage money in prison. He needed to try to understand why he was the way he was. Why does he keep fornicating? One girl came on YouTube and said she got an STD from Brian Cairn. And that's not to mention the out of wedlock children that I hear he has. He needs to go ask the Lord, why is he the way he is? And he needs to get quiet before the Lord. And before, if I had known, actually before the IRS trouble, what he should have done, before this IRS trouble, what he should have done was, like I said, go on a sabbatical, and 30-day sabbatical, and just ask another preacher to minister at that time. 30-day sabbatical. He needed to get quiet before the Lord and ask him about this. Why did he try to steal from the government? Why did he resort to stealing from the government? He needs to ask the Lord that. And I also think that Carlton Pearson, he should have gone on a sabbatical, 30 days sabbatical, just to get quiet before the Lord. And because he's done it before. I mean, he's gone on, he went on 10, 17-day fast. But I think that sometimes preachers do get burned out. So Brian Cairn may be burned out, but I suggest he go to jail and take his punishment. That's what my opinion is. So he can ask himself and the Lord why he is the way he is. Why does he keep fornicating? Why does he keep licking women? Have a nice day. Why is it that he doesn't know that 4 quarters equals $1? Why is it he doesn't know that $1 equals $1? $1 does not equal $1,000. So that's what my suggestion to Brian Cairn is. Bye.